Welcome back to the Blue Door Pub Thunderdome. For another Bull with Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87th best daily sports podcast. Just podcast in general. Not always about sports. Shows about everything and nothing at the same time. Tell a friend, spread the word, iTunes, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Oh, yes. Just, you're far too kind. Yeah, how about that? Going to be joining me today is producer Allie of the show. I'm going to have her on. Mainly, all right, so what Allie does, she's the real brains behind the show. She actually keeps things running and on time, and we're going to have guests in here, and keeps me on track from this becoming just a show where I dissect Creed and Armageddon and like very stupid movies like that. Because I could probably, actually, there should be an Armageddon week where I do a full week of just breaking down the gloriousness of the movie Armageddon. Very underrated, and the fact that it got snubbed at the Academy Awards that year, just an abortion of justice. Yeah, I don't like throwing that term out there too often, but it was wrong. It was wrong. So we'll have Allie in. We'll talk a couple of topics I got in my mind. The whole hashtag stick to sports debate when it comes to sports media. Allie has a journalistic background. Super Bowl, and also what's like working /for/me/with me. All that good stuff. Also good is shopping on Amazon, bullshow.co/Amazon. Easiest way to support us. You know why? Because you already shop on Amazon. You already buy all the stuff, load up the cart. And here's what normal life is for me now. Like the wife texts and emails me constantly throughout the day. And if it's text, it's just, I want to chat. I want to redo the kitchen. Let's put up a pallet wall. I just saw this on DIY or HGTV, so let's do this. And I'm just like, okay. And then the emails come, and the emails are all Amazon links of things to order because I guess this is a blessing. The wife doesn't do online shopping. Like she like doesn't trust it for some reason, so she makes me do it because that's gonna ward off the Russian hackers. Yeah, I'm sure that's going on. Oh, Ella's calling in right now. So bullshow.com/Amazon. Download that and not download. Just use our link and then let's freaking go. All right, so I hung up on Allie because I was finishing up my Amazon diatribe, but let's bring her in now.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Going okay. How are you?
I am fantastic. You're actually live right now.
I am?
Yeah. 'Cause you called in while I was recording the intro, and I'm just going to leave everything. I'm not a big cutter. Like, I would be very bad as an emo guy.
You would, huh?
I would.
Well, you always had kind of a problem with long sleeves, too.
Wait, no, I wear long sleeves most of the time.
You do not. Only over T-shirts.
I'm a big hoodie enthusiast, though.
You push the sleeves up. I've seen you.
Well, no, the key is you get the thin hoodie. Yeah, the thin hoodies, because those you can wear year-round.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's how we're all.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you up to today?
Yeah, kind of. What am I up to today? Not much. Talking to you, enjoying frigid weather, that kind of thing. Coffee.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely
I haven't been outside yet. Am I on
good
speaker?
Italian roast.
Am I on speaker?
Yeah.
Oh, you should probably put headphones in because I can hear myself. as much as I enjoy hearing myself, you know.
There's a learning curve.
It's okay. It's funny. You're my technology advisor, except you're kind of behind the curve when it comes to technology and all these kids. So you're like Betsy DeVos being the Secretary of Education. Yeah, so take heart. Take solace. You are the producer of this, of all of this.
And that's always such a fun and nebulous title because nobody's really quite sure what producers do.
Well, yeah, I feel like it can run the gauntlet of responsibilities.
It sounds good and responsible and possibly even important, but nobody really knows what they do.
Well, like a day-to-day producer can be in charge of, say just a late night talk show. They'll be in charge of getting guests, setting up segments, and parsing all that out. So they'll be really involved day to day. Or if you get into executive producer level, like Donald Trump is still the executive producer of The Apprentice. So it's like, I don't think the Donald's really doing much with Apprentice anymore, except for bitching about its ratings.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's just a little more busy.
So I'm gonna guess you're more the former than the latter. Although I'm sure you would love to be running the country and just tweeting whatever's on your mind.
Obviously.
Would
You know, that's what every technophobe wants.
Would you want to
Running
be
the
president?
country and no.
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 Nah, I've been thinking about this too. It's like I like being loved. I feel like a lot of us do, except for Skip Bayless and people of that ilk. But yeah, president, like even if you do a good job, like even 40% of the country is going to be mad at you at a given time. Like it'll probably be more than that, but even if you're a really good job, whoever's on the other side of the aisle is going to naturally hate you. Sure, you might win over a couple converts that are okay with you, but overall, you're going to be taking L's at least 40% of the time, and probably
Oh,
more.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Who do you think was the most loved president of your lifetime?
My life, probably Clinton.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
helped. I think it helped because it was, I don't say
He
relatively
was
peaceful.
smarmy, but more of a people person than some of the other
Yeah,
presidents
I
we've
think the
had.
personality definitely weighs into that, and also he's just a guy being a dude. I mean, he was having interns blow him in the White House, and, and he didn't even get impeached. I love that, and plus everyone has
Oh, he got impeached, but it's like, okay, you're on double secret probation now,
yeah,
kind of a thing.
yeah.
I mean, it didn't remove him from office or
Mm.
anything like that.
Yeah, and plus, I think he benefited from the economy being very solid throughout most of his 8 years, and yeah, whenever everyone's making money and has a good job and's got food on the table, like everything else kind of takes care of itself. So that's why I'm always a market first sort of guy when it comes to politics because I don't know if you can't feed your family if you're not working, everything else is kind of window dressing.
True, true. So do you think that Trump's popularity will go up if the economy takes off?
I think it would have to be, right? And I know that Obama, he came in right away. The economy sort of tanked towards the end of Bush, and Obama did help bring the country out of it. So that definitely helped his popularity a bit especially on the Republican side. But I don't know. It's always a dicey proposition because a lot of the presidents they inherit the economy, or the economy was going to do what it's going to do anyways. Like
Mm-hmm.
it didn't matter if a Republican or a Democrat was in the White House. The 2006 to 2008 housing crisis was going to happen. Like it didn't really matter who was going to be in the White
Mm-hmm.
House, but Bush kind of has to eat shit on that just because it happened under his watch, quote unquote.
True. And I mean, you think of all of the tech bubble bursting.
Mm.
That was all the spinning and laddering that a lot of the investment banks were doing, but whoever happens to be sitting in the chair in the White House, it reflects on them.
Oh yeah, I guess that was Clinton too, wasn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
who knew that Pets.com wasn't worth $200 billion?
Possibly Credit Suisse of Boston and Goldman Sachs, but hey.
What's funny about the tech bubble and everything like that. I was listening to, I think it was Stuff You Missed in History class, and they were talking about the tulip bulb bubble, and it is very analogous to what happened with the tech boom. Is that is like 15, 1600s and age of exploration, and they were
Mm-hmm.
getting all these exotic tulip bulbs in the Netherlands, which is famous for their tulips. But then the price for some of these rare bulbs just kept going up and up and up, and then it just crashed.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah. It's funny how there really isn't anything that new. I mean,
Mm.
the same types of shenanigans financially have been going on for years and years, but it's just their vehicle for being done is different. You know,
Mm.
with the technology now, you can do some of this so much more quickly.
Oh, did you ever collect Beanie Babies?
No, No, I
I feel like
didn't.
that would be right up your alley.
Oh,
Pardon the
goodness,
pun.
no.
Oh.
I make an effort not to start collecting things because I do have a certain amount of hoarder tendency.
Oh, do you keep old newspapers?
It has happened at
You would.
times.
That's always the telltale one. I feel like with the TV show Hoarders, and we've all known like probably an older relative that was a quasi hoarder. The newspapers, and we're not talking about like
Yeah,
milestones. We're
yeah,
talking about like daily, like County Tribune newspapers. It's like, oh,
yeah.
yeah, I think you might have an issue there.
During the stadium stuff, I was keeping copies of newspapers because I like to
Mm.
underline stuff, and for the articles I was working on with the Daily Norseman, and Eric was like, "Yeah, you're totally going to be on Hoarders one of these days."
And
I
you're a
was
cat
like,
lady too.
"Screw you," and you're probably right.
And you're a cat lady too. So the thing about the hoarders is
Yeah,
that they always have like 3 dead cats throughout the house.
we've just got the one, and she's very demanding, so I like to think we'd find out if she died somewhere.
So let's get off of the random talking points. Oh, let's start the show. No, just kidding.
Oh,
So
okay.
coming on as producer, we have no idea what that means, but
We have a vague notion.
we have a vague idea, but you're definitely going to help out with the content-wise and sort of keep things. I feel like you're definitely going to keep me on track because otherwise, I mentioned this in the intro, I would just turn this mother into a 5-day week podcast about bad movies that I really like Armageddon,
Mm-hmm.
Con
Yeah, I'm a
Air.
little bit of your sounding board
Yeah.
and voice of reason a little bit.
Also, we want to have you on early so people get to know you a little bit, and also, define your role, get to know producer Allie behind the curtain. But also, you're going to be the long-term fill-in guest. Like if we have a guest fall through, it'd be like, oh, I'm just going to get Allie on Skype.
I like how you tell me this
Hmm.
while you're recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're
Yeah. Mention it earlier? No. While we're recording? Sure, why not?
yeah, because now you're locked in.
It's right up there with how I found out I was on Purple for the Win.
Yeah. Oh, it's like in the early days of Jimmy Kimmel Live, when they're just getting off the ground and it's kind of a struggling show. Adam Carolla was always the fill-in guest because him and Jimmy Kimmel go way back.
Yes, yes, the man show.
All right, so you're Adam Carolla. How does that make you feel?
Like I really need to get my eyebrows done.
He does have some aggressive eyebrows. It's almost like is it the eagle from Sesame Street?
Yes, Sam the American Eagle.
Yeah. Bam. But a little bit about your background. You mentioned the Daily Norseman, the Vikings SB Nation site, and also you're actually pretty much the only sports blogger out there that has a journalism background.
Possibly. I think though that my journalism teacher would probably be appalled at what a lot of our journalism is like online.
Well,
I haven't talked to him in years though. I wonder how he's doing.
you want to send him a cable? Because yeah, that's anti-tech. Dun, 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 dun. Dear,
Oh yes.
dear Professor Michael, stop. How are you? Stop.
That could be fun. That could be fun. I like the idea of the whole telegram. I mean, when you see it in old movies, it always adds such a sense of haste and importance.
Hmm.
It's like, ooh, big deal. Somebody got a telegram.
Yeah. How would you like to be one of the first Pony Express people? People forget that the Pony Express only existed for about 2 years, but still like in the lore of the Old West.
Mm-hmm. That was instant messaging, man.
Oh man, do you remember
Yeah.
AOL Instant Messenger? Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo.
Just a little bit.
And like you're hitting on chicks, and then you send them a message, and then told you if they were typing or not. So it would pop up, and then they were talking to some other dude, probably more handsome and with a better car than you, and then they would type in your window, and it would pop up as typing, and then they close it, and then they wouldn't respond, and be like, "Son of a bitch, I knew you're talking to someone."
Is this the voice of experience, Andy?
No, this is just
Did you get turned down that much?
this is an objective observation.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But going back to actual journalism, and I have I have two minds on the subject of sports journalism in 2017. So, I love the rise of the bloggers. It gets everyone a voice, and there's a lot of talented people who come out of the blogosphere, and I feel like are better than a lot of the traditional quote unquote brick and mortar journalist types that write for newspapers. And
Very much.
there's a bit of a clash there, like the
Hmm.
formal education types versus the people who have the passion, the drive. But then again, a lot of times with the sports bloggers, there's a lot of chaff amongst the wheat. You know what I mean?
There
Like there's,
really is. I mean, it's like a lot of people who I just have an opinion
mm,
and I'm going to rant in all caps.
yeah,
And then you've got people like, oh, I don't know, your good pal Arif,
mm.
who are just so disgustingly erudite and clever. I mean,
Wait, what was that
yeah,
word? Erudite?
yeah,
Is that word? I
yeah,
I think that's a hate crime if you call Arifa erudite.
it is not.
I think that's pretty racist. How dare you? I'm gonna tell him that you said that tonight.
He's going to laugh at you for not knowing the word.
What does it mean?
It means educated.
Oh, like it sounds bad. If
It
only
isn't.
there's some magical machine in front of me that had access to all of the knowledge in the known universe right now.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
It would be so handy.
Anyways, sorry. Proceed.
No, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Because I feel like for every 100 sports bloggers, there's like two good ones and 98 bad ones.
Probably.
But
Just because everybody can share their opinion doesn't
mm,
mean they should.
yeah, and I feel like that's kind of in that's a microcosm for social media as well. It's like, oh, everyone has a voice. Everyone doesn't really need a voice.
Hmm.
And I feel like you know when like Twitter and Facebook and social media really started taking off in like the aughts, and companies were so sensitive, like when they would get pushback on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and then they'd be overreactive. It's like, oh, yeah, one of our executives said something offhand, and the internet misconstrued it, and now they're boycotting our company. I guess we have to fire our executive. But now I feel like they're coming around to be like, oh yeah, none of these people matter. And most of the people boycotting your product probably didn't buy it in the first place anyways.
Overreaction. I mean, like, it seems like in the 21st century, the worst thing that can possibly happen is if somebody's offended.
Mm.
Like that is just, ooh, we can't have that. Somebody's offended. They are mildly disapproving of us.
And also the news and the media is still running with if there's like 10 bad responses on Facebook or on hashtag, they're like an internet outrage channel rushed through social media today about XYZ. It's like no, not really. And they're still gonna. I don't think they're gonna they're gonna let go of that one. I think they're still gonna just be like, oh, 100 people are mad online. This must be a national crisis.
Well, there is also the idea that it's representative, like
Mm.
of all the people who have gotten outraged and expressed it, that there are probably that many more who are outraged and just not expressing it and taking their business elsewhere and that
Mm.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of the big reasons why people were shocked when Trump beat Clinton, and the fact that even myself, who was really paying attention to politics for the first time, but trying to get as much information as possible, is like, oh yeah, Clinton's probably 85% locked to win this thing, but Twitter like melted down like when Trump won or it was clear that he was going to win.
Hmm.
But I feel like maybe they don't realize it, but it definitely showed me that Twitter is not an accurate cross section of Americana.
Yeah, it seems not to be.
Yeah, and well, it doesn't really have to be because technology is going to skew younger, and younger people tend to skew liberal. And since it's a private company, Twitter can promote hashtags that lines up with its values, and they're being younger people to begin with. So that's why you get the controversy of they promote certain hashtags that lean left and sort of quash ones that lean right, and they've banned users like Charles Johnson and Milo Yiannopoulos, very, very right-wing people. But they're still pushing left-wing agenda, like people organizing violent protests that support leftist causes. And I don't know if that's right, but also as a private company, that's their prerogative. They can do whatever the hell they want. But I feel like it becomes an echo chamber for one side, and I don't think it's necessarily healthy to be just inundated with everyone that agrees with you.
Well, it's certainly misleading, because like you said, as a private company, they have more controls over what they share than if it was just a public forum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same with Facebook too, because they got in hot water about promoting. When you see the trending on your sidebar of certain stories as opposed to other stories, and then the whole fake news thing. Yeah, I love that wasn't an issue until after the election.
Yeah, funny how that happens.
Yeah, so weird. But I don't know. I try to read and especially listen because I'm not a very good reader to viewpoints that I disagree with, because I try to understand like their point of view. Maybe this is just getting older and then moving towards enlightenment or the attempt to do so. But I feel like just surrounding yourself with confirmation bias or people that agree with you or see the same things that you do, I feel like it's definitely you're insulating yourself. And once
you're kind of in a minority, people tend to like to be around people they agree with.
Yeah. Oh, I'm used to being
and to
a
hear,
minority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. No, this is just definitely a recent development. Like when I was younger, I was definitely all for just surrounding yourself with people who think the same way as you, and you're like, I know, right? Yeah, totally. And then you feel good about yourself, and then you have a scone, and then you go on about your day. But I just feel like as you get older, you definitely try to surround yourself with, well, not me, I guess, to open yourself up to new ideas. Maybe I'm not always right is something that I feel it comes with maturity, because every 17-year-old, every fresh out of college, especially if it was a liberal university, 21, 22-year-old thinks that they're always right. And I was in that same boat too. I'm sure you were as well. But now, as a 31-year-old, I'm starting to see that maybe I don't always have all the answers, and the people who think they do are very annoying to me.
Do you really think people change that much and actually accept that they might not know everything, or do they just say that as they get older and still think they know everything?
Well, I'm sure I have a little bit of the hubris and the arrogance. A little bit of hubris, a little bit of arrogance never hurt anyone. But if it's full-on pig-headedness, and this happens on both sides of the aisle too, Republicans and Democrats, of thinking that they have all the answers, they have the cures to all the ills of the world, even though the world is pretty damn good. And then they go to the grave like that. I don't know, man.
Well, a certain amount of the political stuff, they start getting surrounded by people who tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah. Is that why I brought you on the show?
Probably.
That's why I brought you into the fold.
Probably. I'm your yes man.
It's
no,
good
actually, I'm usually telling you no.
Yeah,
Suspicious.
And then I write a letter to our HR department, which is me.
Yeah, we might want to do something about that.
Yeah, but I feel like you're definitely on board because you're the only one who actually thinks that I have any talent. So maybe that's why.
Oh, I definitely think you have talent.
See, that's why I keep it around.
I can't be the only one who thinks that, though.
I don't know. The wife's never listened to any shows, ever.
That's probably good.
Yeah,
Maintain
probably
an air of mystery.
Also, I don't think she's just interested in any of the topics. Like, even though this show is primarily other stuff besides sports, like we've barely talked about sports so far. Actually, not at all. I just don't think she finds me interesting. But that's okay. That's what marriage is all about.
That had to be a fantastic courtship.
It was. Let's see here. We dated for about 3-4 years. And then we've been married 6. So it's a decade of this bliss of. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you're still talking. Okay, let me know when you're done talking, Andy. And we have a kid, so now we're locked in. We can't go anywhere.
Yeah, true.
Also, something that I feel like would cure a lot of the ills of this country. So we're talking about finances first and the economy, like that's a given. But also like a bunch of societal issues like crime and poverty would go away if dads just stuck around instead of sticking it everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, probably.
And except if you bring that up, even objectively, you're going to be accused of being racist or sexist somehow, or I don't know. Like they'll shoot that down where it should be kind of a given. And also, I want to posture this. So, men, if you have a kid, you can leave. Except you got to come back when the kid is about a year old, and then you have to look in her eyes or his eyes if it's a boy, and then they'll call you daddy. You're like in their broken like 1-year-old English, like dad. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have to make the decision if you're going to leave or not. I think we'll have a higher retention rate. So you can go buck wild, you can do whatever you want for the first year that kid is around, but you have to come back. You got to check in with your parole officer,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, they get to call you Dada with those giant puppy dog eyes. Even though my kid's Asian, she's still got giant puppy dog eyes, and then you're like, oh shit, well I'm staying now.
I just think just based off of how difficult little kids can be to deal with sometimes, like
Mm,
when toddlers go boneless on you or have like rip-roaring tantrums, it's just so much easier to deal with them if there are at least two people there.
yeah.
Like one to clear off space so they don't hurt themselves, and the other to apologize to everybody in the area.
Oh, you're talking about like oot and a boot.
Out and about or even at home, apologizing to pets and things. My niece used to torment the cats.
Yeah, because you're like super aunt, right? You're a de facto parent. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I'm something more than your usual auntie. I remember when my sister told me she was expecting her first baby, and I
Hmm.
thought, great, I'm auntie. We'll go to the park and we'll swing on swings. Maybe we'll eat ice cream. This will be great. And I really didn't think I would be around for potty training and things like that. That was bad. That was such bad time. You know, when you got pee on you and you
Hmm.
don't know whose it is, it's just not a good day.
What is the movie where the line was, "Is that your blood?" Some of it. Oh, it's Fight Club, wasn't it? Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
Uh,
See, that's how my mind works. Everything comes back to a movie.
it's the new literature, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. And some may say that, oh, you're an ogre, or you're a knuckle dragger, you're unrefined because you don't read. I've just never been a really good reader. As weird as it sounds. Well, like I can read. I have the equipment for it, except I don't know, like the visual or especially audio mediums were much better ways for me to learn.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
why
doesn't that go back to everybody having a different learning style?
I don't know. I think maybe they're starting to cater to that now, but back in the day I was considered what was I labeled? Oh, disruptive
You
because
probably were.
yeah, well, if we were reading something, I would get bored as shit, and then I would start goofing off with some of my friends, like in the back of the class. And, like this is like third, fourth grade, and
Mm-hmm.
then I was labeled the troublemaker. Like
You
there's so
seem so responsible, it's hard to think of you as a troublemaker.
there's so many of my report cards from like kindergarten through I don't know like sixth, seventh grade that's like intelligent but doesn't not focused. Actually, that could apply to now too.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
That's pretty fair. It's pretty apt. But I'm starting to think that maybe I had, like, or probably still have, like, a little touch of ADD, maybe a little ADHD.
Mm-hmm. You think so?
Yeah, as my own self-diagnosis because I went on WebMD. Also, maybe like a touch of dyslexia because like there's times when I have to read things and like I'll find myself like 10 seconds and just completely tuned out, and I've skipped like 2 pages, like
Do
mentally.
you think that's unique to you, or do you think that's partly just modern age where we're used to doing more than one thing at a time? Because
No.
I was noticing that I can't just watch
Mm.
something on TV. Like all through the Super Bowl, I was also playing stuff on my phone and talking to other people, that kind of thing. So I don't know. Maybe we're just much more distracted.
Well, you weren't talking to me, that's for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't, was I? I don't know.
How dare you? It's okay.
We were busy with
Mm.
the little complicated one, trying to keep her from lurching into the table.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like a thing. I think it definitely is part of the modern day stuff, but I was having these things as a kid, so maybe it's a little ingrained. Maybe
Oh
it's
yeah.
amplified by the new technology of yeah. Because I understand because like when I watch a game, I have to have the phone up or the laptop open, and I got to be on Twitter. I got to be checking stats. I got to be doing all this random stuff, and I find that a lot now. Like even when it's rare now. Like if we sit and watch a movie where it's lights off, no devices, not looking at IMDb about trivia of the movie or things like that, just
Mhm.
straight up watching the movie, that's very rare. And
I think that's why book reading is kind of sliding with like you or me,
mhm.
because it's time where you have to sit and do just that one thing. Like I don't know, I've never been talented enough for reading while I'm on the treadmill or something like that, but yeah, it's just you're sitting there and you're not getting to do anything else. And it's just kind of not the way we do things anymore. We're
Yeah,
used to fiddling with too many things at once.
yeah, not the way we do things anymore is also getting around town with Lyft, bullshow.co/Lyft, LYFT, and here's what we're doing. Sign up, download the app through us, $15 off your first couple of rides. That's something that we should do more days, just give up money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bullshow.co/Lyft, LYFT, $15 off your first couple of rides. Get around town and don't drive like an a-hole. Yeah, like we used to do back in the day. All right, we'll be right back with more with producer Allie right here on Bull. And coming back into the Blue Door Pub Studios with producer Allie. How's it going?
Hey, going well.
What'd you do during the break? You travel?
Travel.
See the world?
Yep.
Now,
Wrote out a bucket list.
what is on the Allie bucket list currently?
I really want to see Bali.
Like the play?
No, like the place.
Oh, where's Bali?
Isn't it Malaysia? Or
Let's see, if
Indonesia?
it's on your bucket list, you should probably know where it is.
I know.
All right, Bali is Indonesian, so there you go. It's an island thing. Yeah,
Way to Google.
I know. Oh, is this where they get the thing called Bollywood? Wait, no, that's Indian movies.
No, Indian.
Nah, that's close enough. All right, so why specifically Bali? It just seems like a random island in the middle of Pacifica.
Because it seems so far away and exotic.
Oh, you could go to Jakarta and get some coffee beans.
Oh, that would be good.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've never had the travel bug, and I feel like that's definitely
Really?
yeah. I'm definitely more of a homebody, and which is rare, especially of people my generation and ilk. Is like, oh, yeah, we went to Bhutan and it was magical. We just spent 3 weeks away. Whereas, like, I would rather just stay home. I'd rather stay home, maybe do some DIY projects, and just hang. Like that's me. Like I don't have this itch to go to Costa Rica, which is weird because I'm the only person currently of the age of 25 to 31 who's never gone to Costa Rica. Seems like.
Hmm. So there's no place you want to visit, or
Uh,
that you don't have this great desire to visit.
if I was told that, hey, we'll give you $500,000 right now, and you can never leave the United States, the continental United States, so you can't even go to Hawaii or Alaska, I would take it because I don't care. I really don't. Like, the wife obviously wants to go back to Europe and see like Scotland and Scandinavia and stuff like that. And yeah,
Hmm.
I'd be down for that, but it's not something that's like purely on I have to do like this before I die. I'm much more. I don't know. I just prefer working. And yeah, that'll probably change when the kids get older, and we'll do the trip to Orlando and Disneyland. Well, no, Disney World. Yeah, Disney World and Harry Potter World and all that crap. And I'm sure. Uh, well, I guess going back to South Korea, Japan, I'm sure I kind of have to say that because that's where I'm originally from, and be like,
Hmm.
oh yes, you go back to the motherland and have fun with all these people that you don't speak the language of, and they'll look at you funny because you're obviously American. It's like, oh yeah, this is awesome. But yeah, other than that, not really much.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems so funny because you seem like you would want to see new places.
Uh,
But no.
well, they're putting up a Trader Joe's in the South Metro, so that's exciting. That's gonna be a new place.
Trader Joe's are just too crowded.
No, see, they need to add
They
more.
build
They need to
new
disperse.
places and they make
Mm.
them as crowded and uncomfortable as possible, and then they torture you with Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, well, see, also, have you noticed that all Trader Joe's parking lots are exceedingly small?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because that's their thing. Like they draw you in with having great products at a low price, but then they're like, oh, get your shit and get out.
Yeah, the Hawaiian shirts are enough to make anyone want to run.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
hate them.
it's also like too, like, oh, my entire life mission is to go to Tanzania or the Congo and see the world in a place that is unspoiled by Western civilization. I'm like, all right, have fun over there. Yeah, I mean, I really got nothing about it.
So where have you been that you liked? Like, you must
Uh,
have traveled at least a little bit. Where's someplace you liked?
well, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Canada, I've been to California. California is always pretty awesome.
You
Um,
seem like you would have gone to Senior Frogs in Mazatlan or something on spring break at least once.
no, it was even more like basic than that. It was Cancun, so it's like barely Mexico. Oh, I also went to Tijuana once when we were like down in San Diego area, so I guess that's like the extent of my international travel. Gone to let's see
I
here.
only went to Tijuana once when I lived in San Diego.
Really?
Yep. It's like when it's there, you just don't have the interest.
Oh, so that's like me in the Mall of America.
It could be. It could be.
Like yeah.
Of course, you've got a little girl, so you're going to get sucked into either the American Girl store
Mhm.
or the Disney store, or maybe she'll go for the Lego store
Yeah, Muggsy does like her dolls and also blocks. Yeah, hopefully Legos because Legos are awesome.
until you step on them barefoot.
Well, then don't step on them barefoot.
It's hard. They're everywhere.
No, just wear flip flops all the time like me. Have a pair of indoor flip flops that you only wear house flip flops.
You've got house flip-flops.
Hell
Are you
yeah,
wearing them in the winter too?
yeah. Except I do the ultimate dad thing is I wear socks. Except I don't like the the traditional flip flop of like the strap flip flop. I like the toe one, the thong one.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you loosen up the socks a little bit in the front, and then you full on just wear out the thong sandals, like straight up Japanese style. It's great.
Mm-hmm. That is disgusting.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's just terrible.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like Texas is pretty awesome too. Like if we had to move somewhere like Austin, Texas, I would be fine with that.
Okay. Same time zone?
Yeah, same time zone. I like scorpions.
Which technically are arachnids and not insects. Go figure.
Yeah. I just don't want to live anywhere where there's snakes. like an exceeding amount of snakes. Like I understand that there's a low level here in Minnesota, but I'm not. Well, I know that Texas has a lot of snakes, so don't at me. But yeah, Florida and like those giant pythons and shit. Nah, nah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, in Florida, then you've also got the alligators.
Oh yeah, remember when the at Disney World that alligator just snatched up that kid, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
what a tragedy! How could this ever be avoided? Oh, because of the giant signs that says don't go in the water. But little Junior wanted to go into the water, and who are we to say no? Here's parents.
Andy goes hardcore on parenting.
Well, I feel like there's so much. There's like a victimhood in some of these like news stories that kind of bugs me. It's like that truck in Wisconsin that fell through the ice on the lake on a warm day because it was like 40 hours. Like, oh, how could this
And it's
tragedy
been
ever
warm
been?
all January, yeah.
How could this tragedy ever been averted? Oh yeah, don't drive your truck on ice when it's been warm out.
Well,
What an
and
unthinkable tragedy. How could this ever have happened?
going on ice is always iffy in the upper Midwest because I mean some of our lakes are spring fed, so it doesn't even matter if it's been sub-zero for an age. If you get along one of the pressure ridges, it's all mushy and melty, and any spring fed areas you've got moving water under the ice, and so that can be thin too. It's just
Yeah, see, that's always scary to me
yeah.
too, because with freezing water, like you're gonna when you go into the water, whether it be crashing the ice or doing something stupid, you maybe have like 2 minutes because your muscles are gonna lock up, your nervous system's gonna go into shock, and if you don't get help like quick, like you're basically dead.
Mhm.
And that
And you figure you're going to gasp as soon as you hit the water
mm,
because it's cold. So then you're probably taking water into your lungs.
and then you drown,
Happy
and
thoughts.
then you die. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Idaho's pretty awesome, mainly because there's no one out there.
The gem state.
Is it the gem state?
I think it is. I
But
think
it's
it is. Isn't that where Napoleon Dynamite was filmed?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm of two minds. Like I like being near the city because of the civic activities and the shopping and etc. But I wouldn't mind living. I live in the like outer suburbs now, so it's definitely not even like inner city suburbs. But I wouldn't even mind just living on land and having like some chickens and a couple of goats, having like a small farm, but still you're close enough to like one of the main arteries or interstates that go into the city. Like that would be the ideal setup.
Do you think you'd be a farmer?
I think I'd be a hobby farmer. I definitely wouldn't be someone that's like, oh, we got to get the corn in this year before prices go down because subsidies are expiring. Nah, I can't be that sort of farmer. Plus, all like family farmers are like $1 million in debt, which is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, very iffy kind of an industry.
It's like, oh yeah, how much does that combine cost? Oh, $350,000. Cool. Put it on my tab.
Yeah, the equipment is just so expensive for farming.
I used to live next to our backyard went out to a farm equipment sales and rental place, and it was cool. I was friends with the owner's son growing up and whatnot. But one of my favorite things to do is just hit golf balls into the machinery.
You're an odd child.
I know. I never hit glass. Pretty proud of that. Not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely
Did
metal.
you get good at golfing then?
No.
No?
Well, all right. So my grandpa was a pretty big into golfing after he retired because he was he loved the work. He was pretty much like me. But after he retired, he replaced that drive and time of working with golf and travel. Like he didn't travel
Mm-hmm.
much during retirement. Well, maybe once I retire, maybe I'll start to travel then, like an old person. Who knows? But
Become a snowbird and go down to Texas for the winter.
yeah, there we go. But he was big into golfing, and so by proxy, I got into golfing pretty heavily from like 7th to 10th grade. But it never really stuck. I never really kept up with it, and I don't know. Maybe it's something I'll do later. But taking 4 hours out of your day to go golf 18 holes, that just seems not productive.
So do you fish then? That's another of those not productive type hobbies where you're sitting there all day waiting for the fish to
I don't
decide
fish
it's
either.
hungry enough to bite.
Which is weird because like 99.9% of Asians fish in Minnesota, and they don't have like a boat. They'll just like fish in culvert ditches and stuff. You see it all over the place. See, I don't golf. I don't fish.
Yeah.
I don't play tennis. I don't play squash. I don't really do it. I don't do any rich guy activities.
You need to add a rich guy activity.
Yeah, I know. Because we're definitely trending toward that area. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I just don't do anything that traditional like rich guys do. Oh, I guess smoking cigars. Cigars
Skiing?
are awesome.
Do you ski?
No, God, no. No.
Snowboard.
No, skiing, snowboarding, like anything outside in the winter, it's dumb. And it kind of sucks because kids for some reason love being outside, and it's like, hey, let's go snowboarding, let's go tobogganing, or kids don't toboggan anymore. What's it called? Oh, tubing. Yeah. Yeah, I dislike it.
Hockey. Did you play hockey?
No. I grew up in the one corner of the state that doesn't give two shits about hockey, the southeast corner. So it is all football, all some basketball, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, I'm definitely have to learn how to get into hockey because I'm sure the daughter will play it. I'm sure the future kids will play it as well because, like, from what I've seen, everyone plays hockey. Everyone plays organized hockey. Older people play, like, rec league hockey, like even guys in their 40s and 50s because they don't give a fudge. And yeah, I'll have to figure it out.
Did you skate at all?
Poorly.
Yeah, I did too.
Oh, see, that's the thing about hockey. It's like you have all these athletic things that you have to do, and you have to be skating like the entire time. So I don't think hockey players get enough credit for being like extreme elite athletes.
Yeah, I can see that. And they've got a much longer season too.
Isn't it still 82 games? But yeah, I get what you mean. It's a super long season, and plus they don't even play the Stanley Cup.
Well, I mean, I'm comparing to football, which is the only sport I ever really pay attention to.
Yeah. Wow, time has really flown. One more topic I wanted to broach with you is like, so this show is sports based, but also sports adjacent, and we're going to talk about lots of things. Like hell, we opened up with an opening salvo of politics for like 15 minutes. But
yeah, that should make people really happy right now.
It's okay because I think people know coming in that this is not a pure sports show. Like it's definitely going to be sports involved through sports glasses. But what's your stance on the whole sports media hashtag sticking to sports thing?
I don't really have an opinion about it. I mean, I think that people in sports media get their notoriety for talking about sports, and then everybody seems to act nowadays like, oh, I have this platform, I have to talk about everything else that I find important. I don't know. I just personally, I'm not into sharing everything I think about stuff, so I don't relate to it, but it does seem like there's a possibility where it could be important to talk about issues that are important. But yeah, I don't know.
But see, if you're a bleeding heart liberal, you'd be all up in this. Like, of course you should talk about sports because there's way more important things than sports to talk about.
Yeah, I guess I would, but I'm too old and too apathetic about so many of these things.
Well, I think about it is that the majority, yeah, you don't want to say all because that's pejorative, but the majority of people in sports media do tend to skew left. So everyone on ESPN, on Fox Sports, tend to skew more liberal views, and that definitely gets one-sided. And I think people tune out when things are too one-sided. But
I think it's more socially acceptable to skew liberal.
Oh yeah,
if you're
yeah,
in
sure.
anything involving media.
Like, imagine if everyone in sports media that doesn't stick to sports, they always advocate. It's like, oh, we have a platform, we have a voice. these are important conversations to have. This extends past sports. We need to talk. We need to talk. But then if you have some would say Chris Berman, who we don't really know his politics, but just using as a pure example, say he started talking a lot about politics, and say he's conservative, say he supports Donald Trump, and he's talking about all this stuff, they would tell him to STFU so fast, and that seems disingenuous. Like it's almost like stick to sports only if you have conservative views. If you don't, YOLO.
It's true. And just imagine if everybody accepted the fact that life isn't fair. I mean, it's true. You aren't going to hear everybody saying, oh, you should get to express your opinion if you're a Trump supporter, because we know that's not going to happen. Because people will be called racist, and they'll be and sexist and elitist, or something along those lines. Very complimentary.
Yeah, I love the elitist take now because elitist usually think is like, oh, the 1% and oh, the caviar dreams and champagne nightmares, but most of the elitism does come from the left. I feel like it does.
You think so?
I think it does, and definitely the moral superiority-ness of it, and the whole fighting fascism with more fascism. Nah. And I like what I said about the whole freedom of speech thing. I feel like freedom of speech is the most misconstrued phrase in like the American nomenclature. Like you do have the freedom of speech, but that's more you have the freedom to criticize the government without being jailed. Like that was the main idea behind it. Not you can go off and say that everyone on the right is racist.
Kind of to combat the concept of sedition.
Donald Trump is a racist, and he hates gays, and he hates Muslims, and he hates homosexuals. Oh, wait, I already said that. He hates black people. And then you get to keep your job at Burger King? Nah. Nah. Sometimes not. Or, I love the whole threats against the president's life. It's like, oh, it's cool, or we can just punch all these Nazis that we don't agree with. It's like, well, no. That's not really how a civilized society works.
Do you think somewhere Voltaire is just spinning in his grave?
Who's Voltaire? Was he the coach of the Niners?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. He was the coach of the Niners. He was very short-lived, right up there with Tom Sula.
No. God, I miss Tom Sula. That's what our country needs now. I mean, forget promoting Kyle Shanahan, who got way too cocky in the Super Bowl, which we didn't even talk about the Super Bowl. It kind of bugs me. Bring Tom Sula back. Bring Tom Sula back.
Oh, I wanted to see more Halloween babies dressed up as him, like they do with Andy Reid or Mike Ditka.
Yeah. Before we go, the Super Bowl, thoughts?
It was so boring. It was exactly what you expect with the Super Bowl, where it's kind of a lopsided game, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, it got really interesting. And of course, that's about the time when half my family was saying, oh, this game is so boring, we're going to just leave. Which is kind of routine with my father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when the Falcons were up 28-3, and late in the third quarter, and then the Patriots were on the road 9, you'd be like, that's probably over. But damn.
Yeah, I love how with the Super Bowl, when my team isn't involved and the Packers aren't involved, and I can just be that person who's just watching it for the entertainment value.
Oh, yeah.
And you actually get something that's entertaining.
Yeah, that's me with college football. It's like I don't really have a team. I just never really attached myself to the Gophers, although that might change with PJ Fleck. But yeah, I'm kind of jealous of NFL fans who just love the NFL as opposed to being a fan of one team.
It would be so much more relaxing to just
much more misery.
Watch games just for the entertainment value and have no emotional stake in them. And
then you compare yourself to fan bases. Oh, the Falcons really Viking that game away. And it's true.
Yes, they did.
Like yes, they did. Next time the Vikings get to the Super Bowl, like I envision that's how they'll lose. Like they'll get everyone's hopes up and be like, holy crap, the Vikings have a 99.5% chance of winning the Super Bowl. Here we go, and then watch, it'll probably be Tom Brady. Like 5 years from now, the Vikings get back to the Super Bowl, and then Tom Brady just rips their heart out and wins his 9th Super Bowl. Like whatever.
Uh-huh. I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. But an hour flew by. Who knew?
Who knew?
We're cunning conversationalists.
We could be. We could be. You might have a future in this whole talking thing.
I don't know. Here's my thing though. Like podcasting is like the perfect medium for me because I don't really care for too much formalities. Like let the conversation go where it's gonna go. Like I
really, Mr. Socks and flip flops. You don't care for too much formality.
And
yeah.
We got into the tulip tech bubble,
yes.
Which was not written down. That was definitely on the notes. I didn't have any notes. I just hit play or record.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how I do. But yeah, producer Allie, give me the elevator pitch. Like, what is your role going to be on the show?
I am going to be Andy's Girl Friday and do whatever he needs to help make this show his vision.
What's a girl?
It just sounded too much cheerleader. I don't know.
What's a Girl Friday?
You haven't seen that old movie? I don't know. No, it just means.
Oh, that's my Friday girl.
No.
Oh, shame.
No, it means like right-hand person.
Well, that could be misconstrued too.
Yes, I hear that now that I say it.
It's okay. So Allie, my Friday girl, my right hand. Follow her on Twitter at SkullGirlDN, and she'll be in the mix in the background behind the curtain, and also fill in guests for when we have guests fall through.
Yeah, that's grand.
That's what you do. All right, thanks, Allie.
All right, bye.
And yeah, a little introduction to producer Allie. She's going to make me sound not so es muy stupido. And also, you'd be es muy stupido if you didn't get down to the Blue Door Pub, all three locations, Longfellow, St. Paul, and University on Como. Nailed it. February. All month long, $7.50 for a pound and a half of their traditional or boneless wings and all the 12 sauces, or the just wing it flavor of the moment. Now, it was orange chicken. Clockwork Orange, which is delicious, by the way, but they are switching it over. I haven't gotten word what the new one is. Yeah, but either way, get down to Blue Door Pub because they're known for the Bluesies, but get the wings. All right, so we're at Blue Door at least once a week recording, and then also we go there after the Annie Lucanary Football Machine on Wednesday nights, which we're going to tonight because we're recording this on Wednesday, and I always get the wings on Wednesday. I don't know what it is, but yeah, you can save a couple of bucks. $7.50 for a pound and a half. That's the best deal that you're going to get out there, baby. If you enjoy the show, tell a friend, spread the word, add to the Jerome Army, because everyone's middle name is Jerome. Props to producer Allie. Thanks for coming on the show. We'll be back tomorrow. Uncle Nick will be back in studio, and I don't know. I'll find something to bitch about. Or we'll just talk about Armageddon the whole time. Yeah, who really knows? But, yeah, for Allie, I'm Andy Carlson saying annyeong, sayonara, and bye-bye. I don't like to travel.
Thanks for listening to Bull with Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87th best daily podcast. Download the show on iTunes. Everyone's middle name is Jerome.